It sounds as though you've really been suffering in the last few months, right? I'd like to understand a bit more about your symptoms. Tell me first about your physical symptoms.
Yeah, well, they're pretty bad. In the week before I get my period, maybe about 5 or 6 days before, I get this awful bloating, and I can easily gain 5 pounds, and it's all in my belly. Sometimes I can't button some of my pants. And breast tenderness like you wouldn't believe. If I accidentally bump into something, I just about want to jump out of my skin. And then when my period starts, the cramps are awful.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me a little bit more about the cramps. What helps them? Are they so bad that you can't even go about your usual everyday activities?
Well, a heating pad really helps a lot, and I'll take a whole bunch of ibuprofen. That usually helps if I take at least 3 pills. But once in a while, I'll curl up and try to stay at home, but usually I try really hard to just go about my usual day, even if I feel miserable.
You mentioned something about mood changes too. What do you mean about that?
So that's the part that really bugs me. I almost feel like I'm a completely different person in the week before my period. I cry at the drop of a hat. I feel so low and like I'm not worth anything. At the same time, I feel keyed up, like I can't concentrate and I can't sleep. I eat so much junk food and I just feel like things are spinning out of control. And sometimes I really lash out at other people. I got in a huge fight with my boyfriend last month, and the month before I was so argumentative with my boss, but fortunately she knows me really well and she knew this wasn't like me, so she just told me to take a walk to cool down. Thank God, because if I had kept going, I probably would have been fired.
So sometimes when people feel that low, they can even think that life isn't worth living or think about wanting to harm themselves. Does that ever happen to you?
So I don't really like to talk about it, but last month it did get so bad that I felt like I just couldn't stand myself. I thought about all those bottles of ibuprofen, and I pretty seriously thought about taking all of them.
That sounds really scary. How close did you come to actually taking those pills?
So the first time it happened, I just thought about it, and I was so horrified that I went out for a walk so I wouldn't be in the apartment with the pills. But the next day, when I got home from work, it was all I could think about. So I went to the bathroom and got the pill bottles out and carried them around the house, but I didn't open them. I was really scared.
I'm really glad you came in. That really does sound frightening. I think I have a good idea now of how bad your symptoms get just before your period, but I still have a few more questions. What happens when you get your period?
So when I get my period, the first day it's not really any different, but by the second day I'm feeling like myself again. It's like a light switch goes off. And then I'm completely fine until wham, 3 weeks later I get smacked again.